You know that feeling when you watch a Wes Anderson movie, that unique storybook world? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and break down exactly how he does it.
All right, let's get right into it. Capturing that perfectly curated, whimsical style, it's probably way easier than you think. It really just boils down to a few super specific, really deliberate choices.
So we're going to break his whole signature style down into three main things you can actually go out and use today. We've got perfect symmetry, curated color, and deliberate movement. Seriously, if you nail these three, you're pretty much there.
Okay, step one is symmetry. And honestly, you could argue this is the most important rule of them all. It's all about getting this incredible sense of balance in every single shot.
So right off the bat, we're talking about a little bit of cinematic rebellion. You basically have to take one of the biggest rules of framing you've ever learned and just toss it out the window. Because for Wes Anderson, the center is everything, period.
Just look at the difference here, right? Standard filmmaking, it's all about the rule of thirds to get that nice, dynamic tension. Anderson, he does the complete opposite. By sticking everything dead center, he creates this look that's super formal, really composed, and yet intentionally artificial. It's almost like you're looking at a painting.
So the big takeaway is this. You've got to treat your viewfinder like a canvas that needs to be perfectly balanced. This meticulous, you could even say obsessive, symmetry, that's the foundation for the whole look. Everything else is built on top of it.
All right, so once you've got your frame perfectly balanced, it's time to, well, paint it. Let's get into how he uses color to build that super distinct, nostalgic world that feels so Wes Anderson.
The key here, and this is important, is limitation. You're not using the whole crayon box. Nope. You've got to commit to a really intentional, very limited palette for your whole scene. He usually leans one of two ways, either these bright, kind of candy-colored pastels, or these rich, muted primary colors that look like they faded a little bit over time.
And listen, this isn't just a friendly suggestion, it's a hard and fast rule. Total commitment to that color scheme is what makes the whole thing work. We're not just talking about the big props or what the actors are wearing. I mean every single detail in the frame, no matter how tiny. The wallpaper, the socks, everything. It all has to match. That's how you build a world that feels completely immersive.
And that brings us to our final piece of the puzzle, movement. Okay, so you've built this meticulously framed, perfectly colored world. Now, how things move inside it has to be just as stylized as everything else.
So forget all that smooth, flowing camera work. What you're going for here are fast, stylized, almost jarring movements. Things like whip pans that just yank your focus from one person to another, and those sudden snap zooms that punch right in on a detail or a character's face. It all creates this energy that's just so quirky and unique. Now, there's a technical term here that's absolutely key, planimetric. All it means is that you set your camera up so it's perfectly parallel to a flat background, like a wall. What this does is it basically gets rid of depth and it creates this flat, almost two-dimensional storybook feel. The characters end up moving side to side, kind of like little figures in a diorama or a puppet show.
And it's not just about the camera either, it's about how the actors move, or rather how they don't. See, the emotion in his movies, it comes from the look, the music, the crazy situations, not from the actors emoting all over the place. They need to deliver their lines with this flat, neutral, almost detached expression. Perfectly deadpan.
Okay, so there you have it, our three main ingredients, symmetry, color, and movement. Now, let's see how it all comes together.
So here it is, your final checklist. You center your subject, you commit to a strict color palette, you throw in those whip pans and snap zooms, you film flat in that planimetric style, and you make sure your actors keep it totally deadpan. You do all of that, and boom, you've got it. You've created that one-of-a-kind, totally charming aesthetic.
And you know, in the true spirit of a Wes Anderson film, we're going to keep this ending short and sweet. That's really it. It's just a few simple rules, but they have to be applied meticulously.
You know, the best part about all this is that it's actually something you can do. You have the blueprint now. So, what are you waiting for? Go find a cool, symmetrical building and start filming. Your next project could have that iconic, perfectly centered charm.